Alright, so as I just mentioned, these are some notes from my first urban geography class when I was a senior, which is way too late for me to be having this kind of revelation in my life. But when I was a senior in undergrad, I took this class with who would become my master's thesis advisor, Dr. Ipsita Chatterjee. She is beautiful and brilliant and has helped me through many crises and like dark nights of the soul as they happen throughout a master's program or throughout graduate school. So I would be remiss to not have her up here and thank her because she's a keystone of my journey basically. She's like really fiery and basically was what pushed me through all the way to where I am now. So I'm really grateful to her, and especially to the concepts that I learned in her urban geography class. So I grew up in like really small, very like conservative Christian town, and I saw in her class like an explanation of the way the world worked that made a lot more sense than what I had been kind of taught my whole life, and maybe not taught in public school and that kind of thing. And so I went on to do my master's with her, and I worked on this project in Dallas. The city of Dallas wanted to transform the muddy and otherwise unremarkable Trinity River corridor, or Trinity River, into this Trinity River corridor project, which would span 10,000 acres all the way from North Dallas to South Dallas, and be a real key selling point for the city. So it's supposed to attract new residents and new businesses, and make Dallas be seen as a nature-oriented city. And so as I was investigating, this project, I started looking into who is actually in charge of managing all the little smaller projects that are within the Trinity River Corridor project, and looking into the people that sat on the board of the Trinity River Conservancy, who ultimately gave out the contracts to build, this great stretch of green space. And what I kept seeing over and over again is that the companies that would sponsor the Trinity River Corridor project, like Alon USA, who gave money to have this beautiful model built, also had interest in petroleum refining, asphalt, and convenience store retailing. And so I got kind of interested, but I kind of pushed it to the back burner of like, how do corporations or people in charge, how do they square like the goodness that they think they're doing in building these green spaces with their other interests that are perhaps going against the very things that they promote. And so this is from my thesis presentation. I was like, this is something I'm already thinking about, and finally I'm getting another chance to work on it. And so this has kind of led me to where I am right now. I, with the help of Nancy, I've come up with this sort of tentative research question, applying kind of the same thoughts about city development and social processes within the city, and their relation to both ecological and social sustainability. And instead of talking about the Trinity River Corridor project this time, I'm talking about like a different project that's more technologically oriented, and that would be Smart Columbus. So the question I've raised is, what are the logics or discourses or like rationalities behind or that govern decision making that present the smart city as a solution to maybe the very problems that they ultimately create or add on to. And so if you're asking like what problems does a smart city cause, right? Like it seems like a good way to become more becomes a good way to govern a city. And so according to the website, their goals are to drive economic growth, improve quality of life, foster sustainability, improve efficiency within the city. And so what I'm arguing is that through this work, they're also creating social and ecological issues elsewhere, such as in the kind of hidden data storage centers, which use a lot of energy, in like lithium mining in maybe Chile or in South America, or even in, or cobalt mining in the Congo. And so these costs are hidden from, from the city of Columbus because they happen elsewhere, or because they're not thought of as something that is immediately, wrong. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, and thank you for listening.